Alright, good morning from Bradford in West Yorkshire. Yeah, continue to progress northwards over the British Isles, and by the end of today, I shall be back at base in Invergordon, Rossshire, hopefully. Anyway, so much fresher conditions this morning across particularly the northern half of the British Isles. You can see here, this is off the Met Office. What a wild night, by the way, across the southern half of the British Isles. Wales, England, we've seen very heavy rainfall, 60 mils in a very short space of time. All thanks to an area of low pressure that deepened as it pushed through the channel over the last 24 hours. I crossed the channel. It was reasonably bumpy at times, not overly stormy, but certainly there was a wee bit of a pitching and rolling as I crossed from Calais to Dover. I think the worst of the conditions were on the French side of the channel, but certainly gales on both sides of the channel. Very heavy rainfall, and I think rain was actually probably the big story. But sunshine yesterday, driving up through Kent, Essex, into Warwickshire, what was interesting was the fact some very gusty winds, sunshine, and then all of a sudden the heavens opened up here. Temperatures as well, 18 degrees. You can see here the maximum for the UK yesterday was 19.1 Celsius at Heathrow. But notice here, as we see this pulse of very heavy rainfall pushing through England and Wales, watch Scotland. See the frontal system pushing through, heavy rain associated with that. Then there was a rash of showers that were followed, and polar maritime air was behind that frontal system. That system will continue to push south as well. So, and we're going to see much cleaner, fresher autumnal air moving in behind that frontal system here. So it's interesting to see how we get a system sweeping across the southern portion of the UK, while we've got a cold front dropping south from the north here. So that's just a little interesting thing to look at here. These are the temperatures over Europe here. Of course, temperatures yesterday 16, 17 degrees. The northeast France, Belgium, into the southeast of England. Much cleaner conditions now starting to show up here, even down across the southeast of England here. Temperatures still holding the teens if you notice across the Low Countries, but the very mild air has now been swept out into East Germany and Poland here, as you can see, generally speaking. So looking at the surface pressure chart, get the overall idea what's happening. We've got, of course, two areas of low pressure to talk about here. We've got the feature now pushing into the Low Countries across the southern UK and northern France over the last 24 hours. We've got this bigger area of low pressure here in the Norwegian coast, interestingly enough. That is pulling very cold air. It's moderating, of course, as it heads southwards, but very cold air across northern Scandinavia, where we've seen temperatures close to minus 20. You can see the cold air wrapping around that area of low pressure and down over the UK, cleaning things out, pushing the warm air off to the east here, as you can see. But generally, as you can see, as we push through, we'll get a little lull in proceedings through the course of Friday. High pressure builds in briefly. Then we've got an area of frontal system that pushes through on Saturday and into Sunday here. Then it's like followed by a kind of persistent spell of rain and gusty winds. That pushes through. Then of course there's a rash of blustery showers from the west. Nothing particularly cold to write home about, because of course we're talking about warmer than normal waters over the Atlantic here. So there's not a great deal of cold air behind it, but certainly keeps it a little bit closer to average at least. You can see here as we skip through in the next week here, the latest run in the GFS indicates another frontal system pushes across the UK. You get the overall idea. It's just basically one feature after the next crossing the Atlantic here, and a little bit more potency in that system, as you can see, towards the middle and latter half of next week. Of course, all the details very much changeable. It will chop and change, but I think the overall emphasis will maintain itself on disturbed Atlantic-driven weather over the course of the next week or so here. Looking at the 150 millibar temperatures, you can see here that the cold air coming down from the north at the moment here, that lingers over the next 24 hours. Then, of course, with the next frontal system approaching, that pulls in milder air from the south once again, and then you get the idea. You know the script by now. Cooler, fresher conditions behind the frontal system. What is interesting, though, however, is it appears that the modelling is indicating a little bit more of a northward shift in the storm track. Therefore, what we may find ourselves doing is kind of holding on to slightly milder air to the south of the UK. The jet stream kind of takes a little bit more of a kind of shift northwards and keeps the UK more in the slightly milder air as opposed to south of the UK and in the colder air. So I think temperatures are going to probably hover close to average, maybe slightly above average, based on this jet position and shift north. It may shift slightly further south. The modelling, of course, remains changeable, especially as you go all the way into next week here. But the general emphasis being low pressure and probably average to slightly above average temperatures as we go forward here. You can see here how the milder air kind of lifts northwards here in association with low pressure to the west of the British Isles here overall. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day or your day ahead. I'm, of course, making the video quite early on this morning, so I hope it's a good one. And, of course, always hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and keep up to date. I'll be back again on Saturday. Bye for now.